In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Guys, we're going around the world, all over the place. Italy, Australia, Argentina. Buenos dias, señor. Buenos dias. Bueno, bueno, bueno. Hup. Check it out. Hup. Feel it. Hup. We've got Kenny Wilson on right now. Socceroo Dad as well. What stories we've got tonight for you guys? Hey! The cup of life. This is the one. Now is the time. Don't ever stop. We should've known, gotta be strong. We should've known, right from the top. And when you feel the heat, the world is at your feet. No one can hold you back if you really want it. I see it in your eyes, you want the cup of life. Not the days, here you're gonna get it. Tony, do you really want it? Kenny?
Yeah.
And of course, Sammy, here we go. We are the people, we are the passion, we are the history. My God, guys, it's our way, the highway. What a special tonight we got, guys. And I said, our way, the highway. That's right, guys, all the way from Argentina, Mr. Sammy Barry, player from Argentina. Look at Sammy. The crowd is screaming. The crowd is screaming. You can't hear the crowd. It's everywhere right now. But I tell you what, Tony Goodwin, Socceroo Dad, and of course, Kenny Wilson. I know he come back from his fact-finding mission about the game in Europe. We'll go. Come on, Kenny. Oh, my God, Kenny. Oh, I tell you what, mate, what a story got for everybody tonight here right now. I tell you what, we are going to have Angelo from Italy very shortly. She's coming back on. But we're going from one side of the world to the other side. My God, mate, modern technology. Let me say, buenos dias, Senor Sammy. But let me tell you right now, one thing I'll tell you is I saw that video of you playing in that game on your Facebook site, and I couldn't believe how that commentator mentioned your name, Barry. Did you see the way he speaks about you on the ground? My God, mate. How do you...
I love it. The commentators here are so passionate.
Is it the same as what they do over there when a goal is scored? Goal! Is that right? They go like crazy, is that right?
Yeah.
No,
it could be a last-minute winner.
Mate.
It could be to make it 5-0, and they'll shout, goal.
Oh, mate. They keep that goal. It keeps going on and on. I can't believe it, mate. But, mate, how did you get to Argentina? I know you got to get a bit of story with your of course, your coach, and he's an Argentinian. So how did you get there?
Yeah, well, originally I went to Italy. I was playing for the reserves of Salernitana in Serie B. After I finished school last year, I only finished in October last year. Where I was playing for Perth Glory, their MPL team. So I went to Salernitana for a bit, but they were fighting relegation, so there wasn't many opportunities with the first team. I did train a few times with the first team. They had some really good players. Aiden Rustic,
yes,
for the Socceroos. Obviously played against Messi in the World Cup in 2022.
Jesus.
But I always sort of had a dream of playing in South America. I like the idea of making my debut in South America. And I knew my agent had a lot of contacts in South America. Obviously, he's from South America, Marcelo. So I decided to leave Salernitana and go to Argentina to make my debut. And yeah, I've loved it.
Mate, I tell you what, and you're the first Australian to score a goal, is that right? The first Australian to score a goal in Argentina? Tell us about that one.
Yeah, I think I'm the first Australian born to play professionally and to score a professional goal. I think there have been some Australian, but I think it was before Argentina fully had professional leagues. But other than that, there hasn't been any other Australian-born player to play in Argentina. So yeah,
wasn't it
quite a unique thing, because I suppose many Australians don't go to South America. Like it's pretty unheard of.
And you getting in there is a massive bonus, because this is a big thing for you, because this is another springboard to go to the next level as well. I'll bring Tony on first.
Yeah, Sammy, but with your going over there, obviously, football is the number one game over there, and everything is just so professional. Everything is just it's life. It's a religion over there. When you went over there, was that the sort of environment that you thought that would make you excel? Because in Australia, it was sort of like a third string sport, according to the AFL and the NRL. Not to me, but going over there, how do you think it inspired you?
It's like it's the only sport here. Obviously, like in Australia, you've got AFL, rugby, tennis, cricket. Here, it's football, or you're not Argentinian, or like it's just ridiculous. Everywhere you go, it's Messi or Maradona. So everyone just lives and breathes it. So it makes it's such a good place to be. If you love football, everyone supports either Boca or River. Everyone asks you Boca or River. It's just passion here. It's so good. I've had such a good time with that for sure.
I'll bring Kenny on, because I tell you what, Kenny's one of those players who came many years ago from Scotland to play in Australia. So you did the complete opposite. You went to a soccer country. He came from a soccer country, or a football country, that is. There you go, Kenny.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, you've done a sort of a Craig Johnson. At a very young age, you've gone to the other side of the world. It's a huge effort, and it's a massive sacrifice. And to make it today, you got to do that. Craig will tell you. I mean, Tony. I mean, these sacrifices have got to be made if you want to make it at an elite level. You can play in the plodding leagues and get by, but if you want to really, get to that elite level, that's the sacrifice you got to make. You've got to pack up and go, and weather the storm, because it always doesn't go well. I mean, I've just come back and I've saw a lot of the Aussie boys playing, and some are going great at the moment. Boyle's flying for Hibs at the moment, scoring goals in Europe. Opened up in the Scottish Premier League, scored a couple of goals. Scored 2 goals in the Europa qualifying games. Then the young lad Devlin at Hearts is absolutely flying. I saw him twice. He was absolutely outstanding. I saw Yengi, and this is the point I'm going to make, where at the moment, the 2 games that I saw him against, he's playing at Aberdeen. I saw him play against Hearts. I saw him play against Celtic. He never got a kick, and this is a test of character he'll have, because obviously he was at Portsmouth. Portsmouth have sold him to Aberdeen or loaned him to Aberdeen. But he really needs to knuckle down, because, and really dig in, because he's obviously got talent, but he's certainly not showing anything at the moment, or in the 2 games I saw. And, when you're playing, and it's the Scottish Premier League, obviously, but when you're playing at that level, you've got to stand out. And but as I say, a few of the Aussie boys are really going well at the moment. As I say, the lad Devlin blew me away. He was fantastic. And Hearts are currently top of the Scottish Premier League. So yeah, it's not easy to make it at the top. You've got to have a lot of dedication. And your families have got to make a lot of sacrifices. So well done to you, and wish you all the best, mate.
And of course, Sammy, you made the team of the week. You made the team of the week in the competition that you're playing in. So, mate, that's I'm looking at the team of the week. You sent it to me. I said, Latin name. All of a sudden, there's an Aussie name in there, mate. You can see. And the thing about this is, mate, I'm trying to understand what that commentator's saying. My God, man, I do speak Spanish, but not like that much. But anyway, let me say one thing about this. I want to ask you. We spoke a few weeks ago with Massimo, and we spoke with Tommy, of course. That was a massive story. And that thing you said, mate, about that blonde kid, Massimo. All the girls are going up to him, touching his hair. My God, are you serious? Is that what happens over there?
They're pretty loose over here.
Unbelievable. So let me just say one thing about this now. You turning up, of course. I spoke to Kenny about this a few years back when and some of the players that came in from overseas. It's just like you turning up there, and it's like Australiano, what you doing here? What you doing here? Is that right? They get stuck into you, but you ignore it. You like the attention, and so they make you like they treat you like a roll of rubbish on the ground. What's it like there when, the opposition crowd, what do they do to you?
Yeah, well, about 2 weeks ago, my last away game, I came on right winger, and there was the stands on my right outside of the pitch. There was probably about 50 people who knew I was Australian, and they were just giving me shit the whole game.
What?
They were just it was relentless. They're Australiano, and they'll be shouting all sort of insults. But to be honest, I don't mind it. It sort of makes me play better, to be honest. But yeah, you do get, even teammates in training, they'll say, like, they get frustrated. They'll, kangaroo and stuff like that. It can be difficult. You have to be almost like 2 times as better in training, because if not, they'll just put the blame on you anyway. But yeah, like away crowds, they will know like I'm Australian.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it can get quite it can get quite fiery, especially if I like start dribbling or something. They'll all start shouting. So yeah, it's something to get used to, but I quite like it.
And what a coincidence! They called you kangaroo. Guess what they called? If you read Craig, Tommy's reading Craig Johnson's book. What did they call him when he first turned up? Kangaroo. So it's a definite name for Australian players all the time. Nicknames. Tony.
Yeah, got to say, it's 85% of your whole football, mate's in your head. So it's your ability to deal with what you've got and what your environment you're in. So, again, you will get a lot of stuff like that. You'll get opposition players trying to get in your head. You get opposition crowds. What you seem to be doing at the moment is using it to your advantage, which is perfect. Craig told me a story at a game against Bahrain. The guy was swearing him in Arabic, and Craig let it go. He knew what he was saying, and then he just gave it to him at the right time, but in his own language,
Mate,
which really pissed him off.
Sammy,
it pissed him off.
Is that the same as you, Sammy? Same as you? They do the same thing to you on the ground?
Oh yeah, as soon as the opposition players, like the fullback, tell me, as soon as he finds out I speak English, don't speak too much Spanish, yeah, he's all over me. He'll try to make fun of me. He'll try everything. When the ref's not looking, he'll try elbow me. Yeah, yeah. But as I said, it sort of makes the game more interesting. And then when I get the ball, I'm eager to do something, dribble more, or to quieten him up. So I like it.
Turn everything into your advantage, mate. 'Cause when you play, like especially when Adelaide play Melbourne Victory, of course, it's war, not football. But again, players love it, love that environment, love all that banter. It makes you play better. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
So Sammy, the other thing before I bring Kenny on, I want to ask you about the training compared to the training in your team there in the comp. Is that the second division you're playing in? Second division, is that right? Division 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Second division.
Oh no, this is third division, first team at the moment. But before I was at the second division, but okay. I was only training with the first team. That's the same club as where Massimo and Tom are playing for their reserve.
Okay, so let me ask you about the training that you were doing in Australia compared to the training you're doing in Argentina. What's the difference, and how much more do you do?
Well, in Australia, I was playing for Perth Glory, so the training was quite good. It was professional, obviously, Glory in the A-League. But here it's definitely probably the physicality, the intensity in sort of Australia. You might have 2 or 3 sessions, probably 2 that are like intense, like during the week, and then in sort of after the game, and then after the game, it's sort of more tactical. They lighten up, whereas here it's sort of like if we're training every session, sort of 100%, and everyone's giving their all, and it's quite physical pretty much every session. So I think that's probably the biggest difference.
So you're basically come from Western Australia, and it's actually Angela's coming. Oh, there's Angela. Yeah. Let me just say, you're coming from Australia, and you're only training how many days a week compared to training in Argentina?
Yeah, we train every day apart from the day after a game. Yeah.
Gee, every day. So that means even before the game, you're training the day before as well.
Yeah, we train the day before. Yeah.
That's unheard of over here. And I'll just bring Angela, because Angela knows that club that you played in of course, in Italy. What's it called? Sala. What's it called? My God, it sounds like
Salernitana.
Yeah, so Angelo, that's
Salernitana.
So, he speaks Italian too. There you go. So the thing is, Angelo, there you go. You got one boy who was in Italy as well, Sammy Barry.
Were you talking about Salernitana?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Yeah, I was actually just now, I'm not sure whether you saw the pictures, but I was at Giuliano Calcio, which is one of the teams that Salernitana will be playing against this year. And, the competition with kids, Primavera, and, the senior, and they're all gearing up now. That's the first day today of training, as you know. But the competition is so hard with kids under 19. It's incredible. It's just incredible the amount of talent that they've got and to pick and choose from. Obviously, some kids were from trial, but I'd like to know, you've been at Salernitana?
Yeah, I mean, a few players in my team made their debut when Salernitana were in Serie A, so and others in Serie B. So you got some incredible players who played for the Italy national team when they were younger. So you're competing against some of the best players for sure.
And your coach at some stage would have been Antonio Colantuono.
Yes, exactly.
Colantuono was there, in the junior development setup, and then of course he coached Salernitana for half of the season when they were in Serie A, and then of course they got demoted. They relegated. They got relegated to the Serie B. I think he coached them for about 12 games, but he was coaching the juniors at that stage. Harry,
Yes.
Antonio Colantuono. He was. He's obviously Colantuono coached Atalanta before Gasparini. So, as you guys know, Atalanta won the Europa League not long ago, and Colantuono, this coach, was coaching the Serie A team, and then he went over to Salernitana, to take the junior development position there. But of course, he ended up in Serie A as well. But look, it's a very tough competition over in Italy for that age group. Very tough.
It is. Yeah, I remember we had Napoli in our group.
Gee.
So you have players who are probably training with their first team who won the Serie A and the men's. So yeah, some unbelievable competition.
I'll bring on Kenny. You got some questions for Sammy?
I think he's pretty much answered most of them. I mean, the reality is, he's obviously progressing through the ranks. He's made the sacrifice to go over there, and I mean, talk about full time training. I mean, obviously, diet, medical, all these things have changed dramatically through the years. But we always, I mean, back in my day, we used to train our full time. I mean, when I was at Rangers, we'd get there at 9:30, and we trained from 10 till about 11:30. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday we'd normally have a trial match between the reserves and the first team or the youth team. And then Friday, depending on where we were playing, you'd come in for a really light session, but it was pretty much, 6-a-side, tic-tac. And then if the first team were playing away overnight, they'd go coach away. Sunday off, and depending how hard the game was, on the odd occasion you get Monday off. Obviously, things have changed now that most of the clubs do 2 sessions. They'll do a morning session. You'll go have dinner or lunch at the club, and then you'll probably have another session 2 or 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. So yeah, I mean, the game has certainly changed. It's changed in a lot of ways. It's changed in obviously the physicality, the mechanics of the game, because the game's certainly become a lot more mechanical than what it was in my day. Less flair across the pitch. It's more, I suppose lots of teams play the same structure in the same way, and very disciplined in that way. So it is what it is. It's what you've been brought up with and what you see today. That's what my kids love the game today. I miss my generation of flair players. Although I still love the game, and I go to games at a drop of a hat, but I certainly miss the late 70s, early 80s. I missed, I know I keep saying it, but my favourite team of all time is the 1970 Brazil World Cup team. That was just I don't think you'll ever see a team like that again. It was just poetry in motion when you watch them. But and then the mid 80s, the Maradona teams, and the Cruyffs, the 74 World Cup against Germany. They talk about Holland. Holland were made up with 2 clubs. It was Ajax and Feyenoord. The 11 players came out of the 2 clubs. They never picked out 10 clubs or 12 clubs. It was the 2 clubs. So yeah, the game's changed now. It's a different animal. Financially. We'll talk about obviously a bit later about Isaac at Newcastle. What can happen and how the game allows that to happen. See, that would never happen in our day because you never had the Bosman rule. So the club could physically put you out of the game, which wasn't a good thing. But what we're at now is not a good thing either. When a player signs a contract, he's got a 3-year contract and refuses to play. And I think I know I've moved on to a different subject, but I think he's played the wrong card with a club like Newcastle because they don't need the money. And I think they'll just leave him there. I don't think they'll sell him. I think they'll dig in and say, you know what, you're not going anywhere, and if you don't want to play, you ain't getting paid. So it'll be interesting moving forward.
I'll just bring you now, Sammy. When you first got there, of course, you're talking about a professional club. Of course, you're talking about a 3rd-tier club, which is so professional compared to the A-League and compared to the NPL, of course. But the thing about this is they look after you, like they feed you as well. They give you a diet and everything. Is the doctors check you out more in Argentina? Do they give you physicals before you join the club? What's the physical like, and the dieting after that, the food they give you?
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 meals. I eat twice a day at the club, and then the physios. Yeah, before I started playing, and whenever I want, you sort of just go and see them. So yeah, the club look after you very well. Make sure your diet is good, and then it's a choice. But if you want to go to the gym, they can give you a personal trainer, which I do. Not every player does, especially probably the older players. They sort of just they'll do the team training and that's it. But for me, a bit younger, I want to do a bit more. So for sure, I'll definitely be taking advantage of that sort of stuff.
So the professionalism compared, you played. Did you play any seniors at Perth Glory? No, you played 1 or 2 games, or did you play a few there? No, just the NPL.
MPL, yeah.
Okay, so the difference between where you're playing now and the MPL in West Australia, what's the difference? Massive.
Probably just the caliber of players. I mean, I'm playing against people who sort of, who played in the first division, against Bosker and River. So probably just the mentality as well during the game. Like the defenders in the MPL, you have a lot more time and space in the games. Whereas, in Argentina, the games are a lot more physical. As soon as you get the ball, there's a defender coming straight through. So it's quite dirty over here. You don't have much time on the ball. Whereas Australia, you've got a little bit more time on the ball. So that's probably the biggest difference, just the intensity and the intensity of the defenders on you, to be honest.
One will ask you is, do you meet up with the other boys? Do they call you? Do you ring them? How far are you from the other boys, from Tommy and, of course, Massimo? How far are you from them?
I'm about a 4 or 5 hour flight. Yeah, they're up north.
So
it's quite a big country there.
My God! So you're
I'm down south. So I'm below. I'm about a 10-hour drive down from Buenos Aires.
So you're closer to Buenos Aires than them. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a bit closer. Yeah.
Gee, my God, mate. So tell us about your coach. your coach in of course in West Australia. The MJ Academy that you went through as well with Marcelo? Was he? Just tell us a little bit about him. He's a very shy man. He won't come on. Oh, he's listening right now. I'm going to tell him, vamos, amigo, vamos. He should be coming on the. He's not saying anything.
Yeah.
Go on. Tell us about him.
He's a bit camera shy, but yeah. No, Marcelo, he runs an academy in Perth, and the reason I got attracted to it is just because it was, first off, he's South American, so it was already quite unusual, so it caught my eye, and his sort of training is so unique as a South American. That sort of mentality and his training style was so different to anything else I had in Australia. When he was younger, he was a coach. He was a coach at Bokken Juniors.
Gee.
So his training style was caught my eye a lot. It was a lot more physical and intense, and so just for me, it was the best place to go in Perth. Different from sort of the usual, like you have these academies, but they're all sort of the same. This one was more, weights included, Olympic lifts, a lot of sprints, jumps, everything all in the session, as well as dribbling and shooting. So it was different, yeah.
So he brought everything from over there to over here, which is amazing because he's got probably a unique way of training the boys over here compared to some training here. One more time, I'll get on Tony, please. A few more minutes we've got with the boys. Got to get to sleep, mate. He's got to train in the morning too, So come on, Tony.
A quick one. I just wondered whether your pathway, Sammy, from your junior levels up until where you are now, whether it was a very simple one, as in going through like what they call SASSY here, and then your AIS. Did you go through a traditional sort of a setup like that, or did you basically have to jump through other hoops to get to another level and then get to where the academy was?
No, pretty much. I was playing in the First Glory Academy from under 12s up until MPL first team when I left to go to Italy. So it was up until then, it was simple, sort of just going from age group to age group, trying to retain a spot. But then after that, after I left, that's when it turned crazy. Going to Italy and then Argentina. But no, my junior career in the Glory, definitely, that was a pretty linear pathway.
I'll bring
one thing that Craig always had from years ago, whenever he had all his knockbacks, he's got a good saying. He says, the only person that can tell you no is you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many coaches say no, you just don't quit.
Exactly.
I'll bring Angela one more time for of course, for Sammy.
Yeah, no, Sammy, it's interesting what Kenny was saying, and Tony, really good questions. I think Kenny was saying that football's changed. There's been an evolution. As you know, Sammy, in Italy, the scientific part of training is so much higher than Australia. I know I'm comparing apples with bananas or whatever, but it's just that Australia's gone backwards ever since the AIS has disappeared. There's private academies, and they all have a slice of of Europe or South America in their sort of methodologies of training. But it was interesting that you were a Salernitana, and Salernitana were playing Serie A only 2 years ago. So the training that you would have got under the instruction of the technical director, Colin Tuono, would have been very high. And I want to ask you one thing, though. Why did you leave Italy to go to Argentina when a lot of Argentinian 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, exceptional stars, actually come over to Italy?
Yeah, it's a question. It's a question that I've been asked quite a lot. But for me, it was for some reason, South America just, as soon as I heard like there was a possibility with my agent, I sort of fell in love with the idea. But for sure, like if I was training a bit with the first team, but as I said, they were fighting relegation. There wasn't many opportunities for young players. Like even, a player who debuted the year before in Serie A, he was playing Primavera with us. So for me, there wasn't too much opportunity with the first team. So I wanted to go to Argentina to finish off my development, because for me, I think Argentina is one of the best, if not the best country in the world for development for young players. And then obviously after, you want to go back to Europe, because obviously, the higher leagues and the money obviously is better. But I wanted to go and finish off my development and play first team in South America before going back to Europe.
Okay, so Angela, go on.
No, I was just going to say that's a very good answer, because obviously he's been given the right advice to develop over there, and if he thinks that the academies under Marcelo are at the high level like they are in Italy, because in Italy, it's excellence, like the art of excellence, with the academies and all the training that they do. Kids of 15, 16, 17-year-olds are much, much higher than in Australia. It's a pity, because it wouldn't take much for, the technical director or someone technical from Football Australia to come over and just have a look and see what's done over here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'll bring on one more time for Kenny if he wants to say a few things before we let, of course, Sammy go, because he's got to get the training, mate. Of course.
Oh no, that's fantastic. But we just wish you all the best. I'm sure Harry will keep us updated with your progress. And when you make your debut and you're in the first team, come back on and let us know what it feels like to play and obviously crowds in Argentina are massive, so it'll be a great experience. But well done to you, and you've got the best wishes from Australia. And hopefully we'll see you in a Socceroo shop.
Exactly.
Pretty soon.
Thank you.
Now let me before you go, you tell that Massimo and Tommy to send us videos, for God's sakes. You send videos to us. We want to see videos. We want to see highlights of you guys play. I saw the highlights on your video, on your, of course, on your Facebook site. Have they got any highlights at all?
I'm not too sure. I'll have to ask them.
Ask them to send them some stuff. We'll get back to you in the next. When does your season finish?
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
My season finishes here in October.
Okay, so we need to get through to you and see what's happened, okay? So, mate, thank you for having us tonight and coming here. You're waking up early in the morning. Bueno, of course. Muchas gracias, señor, and hasta la vista. Thank you. Ciao, señor. Ciao.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you, Sammy.
All the best.
No worries, Sammy. Thank you. I tell you what, guys, to be able to see kids going to South America. Everybody out there, what you heard today was amazing. And I tell you what, Angelo, what a delight to speak to someone on that side of the world. And you're in Italy, mate, and the sound was clear and everything. I could not believe that, Angelo.
Well, Harry, let me say, not buttering you up, but you've done a marvellous job with the equipment.
Mate.
I know that you're always getting new equipment, and with the Channel 31 show coming up, thanks to a lot of the sponsors there, I think you should mention the sponsors every now and then.
They're going to be
because
they're advertised.
But you were saying, the sound is clear. I'm in Italy. He's in Buenos Aires, but good luck to the kid. He's been through a tough assignment. I think knowing Salernitana, they got relegated 2 years running from Serie A to Serie B to Serie C, and he wouldn't have had a lot of opportunities because the club would have been in a very difficult stage. So unfortunately, he's been advised to go to South America. It's an interesting sort of route to passage. I think Tony would know in terms of competition. Kenny as well. I think it's going to be very tough over there. There's a lot of talent. Through the age group of 14 to 16 in South America, Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. There is loads of talent over there. So I wish him well.
Well, I tell you what, boys.
Sounds like he's got his head screwed on. He sounded pretty grounded when he came up to the confrontation with other players. He sounded pretty grounded, and he uses it to his best advantage, not taking it as a negative.
I tell you what, I want to ask Kenny. I want to ask you this, Kenny. He said he went over there. They stirring him up on the ground, the players and everything. What about you when you first came from Scotland here, Kenny? Did you get anything here? Did you get any crap from anybody over the fence here when you're in the NSL?
He would have kicked the shit out of them.
I played in the days when you could actually tackle.
Really?
I played against players like Eddie Thompson and Henry Mowbray.
Oh, gee.
And Peter Wilson, and these guys, they kick you above waist level, first tackle, and the famous call, historically in football is ref, first tackle, honest first tackle. You were always allowed that first bad tackle without getting a yellow card. That seemed to be automatic in the 70s and 80s, probably early 90s. You were allowed one, and the ref would come up and say, "That's it, that's your last one." But if it was a good one, you certainly slowed the player down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But it's interesting, with all the technology and all the diets and all the medical facilities and the treatments we have and the fitness we have. Back in
but Kenny,
certainly my day, you had most of the big clubs had the squads of 15, right? 15 players. That's all they had. Liverpool, Man United, every club, and you had two subs. And when you read autobiographies of all the big players, the Maradonas and the Messis and the Kenny Dalgliishs and all the big players, they never missed a lot of games through injury. You look at players today, Madison hardly plays now. He gets injured, regularly. There's so many players miss multiple, 10, 8, 12 games. Graham Souness never missed 12 games for Liverpool. Kenny Dalglish never missed 12 games. Alan Hansen never missed 12 games. So I'm not quite sure what it is. Whether we were tougher back then, or we were brought up tougher, or our bodies were tougher.
Hang on, Kenny. They were working the coal mines, weren't they? Working in the coal mines as well. There you go.
Well, I certainly never. But I'm not quite sure what the answer is. But there's certainly some synergy to being working class and growing up on the streets to middle class today in toughness and physicality. There's definitely a divide somewhere. I don't know whether players. We see it. Players feigning injury every 5 seconds, which is my massive bugbear about today's game. I hate it, and I don't care what club it is. back in the days, it used to be South Americans only. Now everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it. They play for penalties. They're playing for, they go in the box and they're diving before they get touched. And it's a blight on the game, I think. But anyway.
Okay, boys, we got breaking news. We got breaking news. Breaking news, Angelo. Sorry, we've got breaking news here right now. Information here that you guys want to listen. Everybody's been waiting here right now. I have a media statement from Football Australia. Monday, the 18th of August, 2025, Sydney, Gardigal, Australia. I've said everything, mate. I've said everything I say. Western United granted an extension to appeal. Western United has requested and been granted an extension to appeal against the decision of the First Instance Board. Have you heard of that? First Instance Board made Friday the 8th of August 2025 to withdraw their licence. Western United has until 10 a.m. on Thursday morning this week, 2025, to submit an appeal to the appeal body as per Football Australia regulations. If they do not appeal by this time, the right to appeal will lapse, which means Football Australia will not be making any further comments. Now, let me say this. I got some other information this afternoon from a gentleman from, of course, Western United, that they're going to be okay. That's what I've heard. I'm seeing some gentleman, that source that spoke to me, will be making comments here as well. Hopefully he'll be saying a few things. Kenny, what do you think of that?
Well, I mean, they've got a right of response, a right of appeal. I mean, Man City's been appealing for 3 years in the Premier League. They keep appealing and appealing and appealing.
And they get out. They get out everything.
Well, they've got money to do it, but the reality is Western United have got the right to appeal. Now, the reality is, structurally, financially, does it stand up? Thursday will tell. Thursday will tell. But I have to say, they're not the Mary Celeste in this. Brisbane, Perth, Newcastle, Central Coast Mariners.
Oh, that's a joke. That's a joke. You heard the story? I'll tell you the story in a minute.
And MacArthur, you've got 5 or 6. It's not just them. We've got a situation where, if the wheels fall off, we could end up with an 18 comp.
I know. Well, the thing about this, what you just mentioned, and I'll bring the other boys on, you just mentioned before, I think that you didn't see this coming either, because I think you just came back from overseas. Damon Hanlon, president of Sydney Olympic, has put $1 million into Central Coast Mariners. No. Are you sure?
No,
because
right.
You sure?
No. It's what's happened is somebody has offered to buy Sydney Olympic for $1 million, and Damon Hanlon has put an offer in to allegedly.
Oh, here we go.
To buy the Central Coast Mariners.
Oh God.
But look, it's a convoluted link. This is for another discussion for another night.
Oh, no.
But somebody wants to buy, and I know who it is, but I can't say who it is at the moment. But someone wants to buy Olympic for $1 million.
What? Are you serious? What? $1 million? They're not going to accept that. There's no way.
Well, of course. Well, I doubt very much if he will. And Central Coast Mariners apparently have received an offer, allegedly, from Damon Hanlon to take over the Mariners. There's nothing official being announced, but certainly I think there's going to be a lot of issues at both clubs.
Oh yes,
in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Oh,
I mean, there's a lot going on behind the scenes there. But look, there's no smoke without fire. There's so much happening at Newcastle. Apparently, have received a notice in regards to debts. How Brisbane are still going is beyond me. I've got no idea how they're still going. Perth have just gone dead in the water. They've just gone dead quiet. I mean, we're getting to the point where we're practically going to have an A-League youth league because Newcastle and the Central Coast Mariners pretty much have got the bulk of the squad in that under $45,000 bracket. So they've got 8 or 9 players. To all intents and purposes, it's like a development competition.
Yes.
Which
It was fun.
that's not what it should be. It should be our elite competition. So, is it good? I don't think it is. But anyway, it is what it is, and the game will survive. Look, I know we're only telling the facts or what we believe to be the facts. That's not being negative. The game will always survive. It always rises from the ashes. It's the greatest game in the world, and it will always survive. Something will happen, whether it be Middle East or whether it will be America, or something will happen, and the game will kickstart, and we'll get a new look of some description.
Yes.
But at the moment, we're not even treading water.
I'll just bring Angelo on. Angelo.
The MLS, don't we?
The MLS. Angelo, the situation Western United looks like they're. I got the source. I got a source here talking to me right now. I can't mention his name, but he's talking to me right now. I can't mention what he's saying, but I know Peter. I'm not going to say anything. But the thing is, Angelo, the situation, or I call it the situation, of course, the situation or whatever. But let me say, they seem to be safe as far as I'm concerned. So there you go, Angelo.
As I said last week, I hope that there's a white knight and there's enough funds for the ongoing concern, because that one of the first things that one of the criteria is that Football Australia or the APL look at is the ongoing concern. For 10 years. Now, what I'm concerned about is that Western United could be saved the last minute, but it will only be a band-aid job. So I think that Football Australia, has been mentioned, and the APL should be looking beyond that. If the club cannot go ahead for the next 5 years, there's no point bringing them in for another year, because, it's a lost opportunity for what football wants to do in Australia: grow the league, develop the league, make it a bigger league, and then, of course, for pay television, gentlemen, pay television, they want to go as far as possible across Australia, like it is in England and Italy and the Bundesliga in Spain. The pay television, they want to be present in as many geographic locations as possible. Right now, Western United is positioned at a pretty bad location. You must say that, because they're not growing. There's no membership growth. There's no fan base growth. They are positioned where there is the presence of Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory. Okay? And the third team, if there was a third team to come from Melbourne, look, I know people will disagree with this, maybe agree with me as well. It should come from South Melbourne or Heidelberg, teams that are followed, teams that have got history, and teams that can actually survive. Western United, to me, as Kenny was saying before, the concerns of other clubs, but Western United has had the opportunity. They have won the league. When you win the league, it is the best opportunity to grow in terms of finance, in terms of commercial growth, sponsorship, and all that sort of thing. You're a winner, so that's while the iron is hot, you go out and get your commercial partners. I don't think that Western United is a good situation there. If they're folding, so be it. I know that people from Western United are not going to like this, but look, they can't survive. You can't just say, look, let's resolve the problem for 1 year, and then what's going to happen the next 5 years? So I think they've got to look beyond that, and now is the opportunity for the APL to go out and select a market that's got lots of football followers, lots of fans, and a full stadium. That's what we need to grow the game.
Tony, your opinion, of course, you're coming from South Australia, and of course, there's been a lot of exits from players at, of course, Adelaide United, which is really a shame. There might be something happening there too also. So we're talking about a lot of clubs here having a few problems with. I think it's the money situation as well, Tony.
Well, look, Adelaide are probably quite stable because I believe they paid off all their debts basically when Craig left for Saudi the first time and Eric Under got his gig overseas. So I think they're all right in the financial situation, but obviously they're not spending an awful lot on players as such, but they've just signed a Dutch goalkeeper today. His video highlights and his age, I think is a good thing because he'll be a good leader for our two young goalkeepers. we still probably need an age striker and an age centre forward with experience to. Because normally, you've got to have 75% seniors, 25% juniors, so the young guys can have mentors all over the place. But at the moment, we're sitting probably around about 5% seniors, 95% juniors.
Tony?
So we got Craig, Kiddo, and Bart Vriends as the three senior players.
It is a shame. Let me tell you, it's a shame. Archie Goodwin going to the MLS. It's a shame because I can imagine the mix-up on the ground with Craig and Archie. Can you imagine that? Oh, mate, can you imagine that at all?
Nah.
Hey?
No, one would have C and the other would have A.
Unbelievable.
They got two different numbers, two different colours.
And the thing is, imagine having two good ones on the field, but they're not related either. That's the thing. It was funny, No,
I think the money that they would have got for Archie would have been probably a good business decision. It's a shame to lose him after a year, but I mean, they had to manage him at Newcastle. He had that issue with his back and his muscles and stuff, and he did have problems. And he came to Adelaide, and they managed it pretty well. But again, you can't push blokes like that because you'll physically destroy them. So I think they found the chemistry right at Adelaide, and it benefited him, and he was exceptional. I wish him well in the MLS, and hopefully he comes back one day. But that's football. You come and go. And footballers have got to make a living too. So every now and again, when that big money offer comes up, that's the one you take. But Craig always said he'll always come back to Adelaide no matter where he went. So he always turns down big offers from other clubs. So loyalty is primary for him. But yeah, that's the game. They're not going back to what Angelo and Kenny was saying. I personally think years ago, I think South Melbourne and Wollongong probably should have got the gigs as two teams that should have come in. But then if South Melbourne come in, how many fans do Victory lose? Who want to go back to big South Melbourne?
You'll find, and I'll tell you, and when I was going to the A-League games, and it's like me and a friend of mine talking about South Melbourne, and people would wonder, who was South Melbourne? The generation has changed. Full-on generation has changed, Tony. They don't even know the NSL. They don't even know they don't even know who South Melbourne is. They've got no idea about the NSL. People still think that, and Kenny would probably get upset with this, is that they still think that the A-League, the game started with the A-League. I said, no, everybody out there, please. And I spoke to people out there, would you like me to show you some stuff? And they don't even know. There's no history. They've just about wiped the history of the NSL and the NSL clubs, which is disgusting.
That's fine. I mean, we go back. We think the same thing about when I go back. People don't realise people like Joe Marsden went to Preston in the 50s.
The first Australian player.
It always happens. Generations get sort of forgotten about.
They do.
That's not an issue. That's not an issue. But look, the reality is that at the moment, just what Tony was saying. The point I was making is 90% are young kids under that 50 grand bracket. So you can see that all these clubs are getting structured around a very tight budget. What I don't understand with Western United is if press reports are correct, and sometimes I take it with a pinch of salt, but they're saying their total debt level is 55 million. Now, if their total debt level is 55 million, even let's say that the licence is worth 15 or 16 for any idiot who's prepared to pay it, they're totally insolvent. They've got no assets. They've got a licence that technically is a liability. And people just don't get their head around this. Angelo made a point earlier on, about Western United winning it. The Mariners had the smallest budget in the whole of the league and won the league and won everything twice and still lost $2 million a year. And they were a well-run club. They were structurally very, very well run. Put on great, engaged with the local community. They did a great job. But again, I say that the issue is we've got too many fair weather supporters. They go to and a lot of it's due to geographically, I understand that. But for example, the Sydney teams supporters don't travel. They just don't travel.
They don't. Are you talking about Work
And
out
I'm sure
Brisbane.
Melbourne's very similar.
Work out Brisbane. Nobody goes to the games, mate. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And so, like I made the point before, Mariners are top of the league. Sydney FC's third. Mariners are playing Sydney FC on the Central Coast, which is 45 minutes up the freeway by car, probably express trains, probably less than an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And Sydney FC's got an average home crowd of 14,000, 15,000.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought about 700.
Yeah. Okay.
Explain that to me. I don't get it. I just don't get my head around that.
I want to bring Angelo on. You wanted to say something as well, actually.
Yeah, no. Look, what I was going to say was, this is it. Harry, you were talking about kids that don't recognise players, and that the whole change. There's been so many changes, and kids have grown up, and all that. There is a solution to that as well. Whose fault is that? There is no marketing. You don't see that happening with AFL and rugby league. When there's a player, there's a hero of the past, everybody remembers them. And then there's a new hero and a new player like Kenny Wilson. When he played in his days, he had a following. And obviously everybody remembers Kenny Wilson and all the great players of the past, Viduka, Kuhl, and so on, Lazaridis. But that's marketing. That's marketing, and that's like having that continuity with the publicity, with the promotions, with the events, with the memorabilia. I know. We spoke about the late obviously Rally Rassage wanted to do that. He wanted to do a memorabilia.
Yes.
But
a museum. They wanted to build a museum. Exactly.
Yeah. Look, that's a museum with regards to Socceroos, but with the players like Craig Goodwin, he's done some great things. He's won a medal. He's won the best player award and all that sort of thing. But do we want, in 10 years' time, that Craig Goodwin is forgotten? No,
I know.
Absolutely not. So it is someone's job. It is someone's job to maintain that interest, maintain that continuity, and the little 5-10-year-olds of today need to know who the players are of the A-League.
The historical part of the game. You
guys might think, it's that frame. It's really the culture.
I know.
It's really should be the A-League, should be the Football Australia or the APL. One of the organisations to have people looking after that sort of thing. So going back to Western United, Harry, I hope really that they're not part of it this year.
Okay.
Because we've said it on this show. If they are going to continue, it's going to be a disaster because they need at least 10 million budget for this season. And if the information is right, what Kenny was saying, they've got a $50 million debt. Come on, guys, they need a $100 million white knight.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Okay, I want to get to the next subject I've got here, Kenny. This is very close to your heart, Kenny. Very close to your heart. This one. This is the most amazing competition that's starting on the 10th of October between Sydney Olympic and South Melbourne at Lakeside. You're laughing, all right? I know he's laughing. You're laughing already, Kenny. I know you are. But let me say this, Kenny. Apparently the clubs are just about all there now. By next week, we'll know exactly. It's the last game of the season in Victoria and parts of Australia. So we will know the next 8 teams that are in there. So apparently, the biscuit tin, as you say, is looking pretty good, Kenny.
Well, I don't know how you can make a draw when you don't know what the other 8 teams are.
Oh, my God.
So, how can you put a fixture list when you don't know what it just gets, mate, honest to God, I was watching One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest last night on World Movies, and I'm thinking,
I was expecting this.
This is definitely the second division. Really, like you said earlier on, Heidelberg have won Victoria.
No. It's Avondale have won now. They're the obvious choice now, being second. Avondale already in there.
But but that wasn't the original idea. It was the top tier teams were supposed to come in. Now Heidelberg made it very plain publicly. They ain't coming in. They don't have the money. They're not interested. So we're already down to the second tier. Now they've not accepted either.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kenny,
then we've got to, I mean, I see people saying, okay, we're nearly there because this team's won it, that team's won it, but they've not accepted to play in this competition yet. It's a whole different ball game when they turn around and find out how much it's going to cost them. When the players say, well, how much are we going to get paid for the 9 weeks? How much is it going to cost us? And I know, obviously, FA have said they'll front the airfares for this season, but who's
Kenny,
accommodation?
There's a solution to that. There's a massive solution. There's a solution to that. So a solution to that.
Just don't play it.
But what I'm saying is it's quite easily you're able to get pretty some deals with the hotels and everything like that. But I mean, and the other point,
Harry, when was Harry? Honest to God, mate, I don't know where you travel. I've just come back from overseas, mate. I'll tell you, mate. No, if you can get a decent hotel in Sydney for under $250 a night,
mate.
let me know where.
Okay.
Let me know where.
The Blue Mountains. The Blue Mountains, all right. The Blue Mountains.
And you show me a cheap airline ticket.
Okay.
During that period, school holidays, where they're going to fly 20 people up and 20 people back.
What my concern...
It doesn't exist anymore.
I'll bring Tony. Tony, what my concern is, Tony, is this. These clubs are budgeted to play NPL, right? To win the final, and that's it, right? So Metro Stars were the first team in South Australia. I should call them Adelaide Metro Stars because Metro Stars, nobody knows. When you say Metro Stars, Adelaide Metro Stars, they've qualified for this competition. They're going to play. My point is, did they budget to pay their players in this competition? That's the point I want to make. Do they have the money to pay the players? You know that club, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Look, I know the reasonably well. I mean, they've been exceptional this year. They ran away with the league many weeks ago, so they have some outstanding players. I think they'll fare pretty well. Like I said, there was I'll give you a quick one. On the weekend, we had very tight competition here. We had teams all vying to get in the top 6, 2 teams trying to stay out of the bottom 2. Para Hills are playing Metro. They were up. Metro were up 4-2.
Gee.
And Modbury thought that we're safe. We're not going to get relegated. In the last 90 seconds, Para Hills scored 2 goals to equalise with Metro. It meant that Modbury missed out and they won their game 5-0.
Jesus.
They went from cheering and celebrating to relegated within 90 seconds.
Oh my God.
When they were the other team was 2-0 up. But Metro were they're by far the best team this year.
Unbelievable.
But I think whoever they play, they'll give a run for their money. I mean, I know they played MacArthur the other night, but I don't know what they were actually focusing just for the end of the season there. But it's they weren't too bad. I mean, I thought they started the house on fire against MacArthur, but then they just got their 2 goals and ran away with it. But they're a very well-run club, Metro. So I don't think they'll have any problems. I reckon they've been pretty smart about it. They've obviously something they want to get into. So best of luck to them.
Angelo, one thing go on, Angelo.
Sorry, Harry. I was just at. Tony's spot on with Metro. The only thing, Tony, I don't know whether it's changed or not, but in the past, Metro never had a good support, never had good following. And, I've got a problem with their name. Harry was actually spot on.
There's no
Metro
name.
Stars, that could be from anywhere.
That's right.
That could be from Alice Springs.
I think their full name is Northeastern Metro Stars.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but that's not something that's from Adelaide.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, but Tony, what I'm talking about is when you're playing in a national competition, and I think the second tier competition is going to be national. You want to have some sort of Adelaide
identity
or South Australia in there. You got Northeast United. You could be from Alice Springs, Darwin. You could be from anywhere.
That's right.
So anyway, that's my marketing beef for Metro Stars. But my concern is always about this ongoing concern. Does Metro Stars have 3 million? And are they going to get 3 million to be part of this competition?
Right.
Because I think it's not a magical figure, Tony. But I think that any team that's going to be part of the second tier competition will need at least 3 million. or if not 2 million and 1 million guaranteed. You know, you need 3 million. I really don't see how they can participate without having that sort of money.
Let me say one thing.
It's going to be a tough gig for any of those sides.
Exactly.
I think like I said, it's a big budget, and it's the end of season for our normal season,
right.
and so they're going to be playing on. So you got guys who got to plan around their jobs again and all that sort of stuff. So it's not an easy gig.
The big problem, Kenny's, are you there, Kenny? You probably disappeared for a sec. Now, let me say one thing, Angelo. Kenny's gone. I think his battery's gone. Let me just say one thing about this, Angelo. I'm still concerned about one other thing. There's been no advertising. A lot of people don't know this competition is starting. I can't believe this. I've spoken to people. I've said to people. I've spoken to academies. They don't even know what's going on. Kids don't even know what's going on. Families don't know what's going on. Where is this advertising? I can understand the A-League, not even the A-League, but they can't do nothing at the moment. They don't even know their fixtures in 2 weeks. It's too late for me to say that their fixtures are current because there's nothing there. But not even advertising this thing, to putting more stuff on social media. Use something, do something. Our opportunity is this, to work with us. We're going to Channel 31. We're going to have bloody, even though it's community TV, it's still commercial TV. We can put advertising up that, nah, they didn't reach us. I've put up things everywhere. I've sent things to people, Football Australia. I've sent everything. They don't want to get back. They want to do their own way. Let them do it their own way and fail. That's what I hate about this, Angelo. I hate it.
Well, look, you're right, Harry. Once again, you're spot on, because the competition's going to start in October. We're actually at the end of August, and nobody knows the fixtures.
No.
Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows if there's a launch in early October. You know, you would think that these sorts of things would be already organised 6 months ago. I mean, it's fair enough not to know all the teams and the composition of who's going to be part of it, because, you know, some teams might knock it back. I mean, you know, teams that win the league might say, no, we can't be part of it. We can't fund that. We can't come up with that sort of money. So, but the advertising and publicity, Harry, you're absolutely spot on. I mean, it's going to run parallel to the A-League.
It is.
It's going to run parallel to the A-League. So they want to be very smart and clever about the fixtures, you know, because otherwise you're going to be losing, you know, fans going to the A-League,
exactly.
And maybe the locals that are more faithful to the NPL team, Tony, not going to the A-League. You know, so it's a bit of a disaster, isn't it?
Tony?
Yeah, it's, again, I mean, you know what it's like when you first started Adelaide United all those years ago. The biggest thing you said was the marketing, and it was heavily marketed. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome. Adelaide did a really good job pre-season. I think after Craig got the captaincy thing, or no, was it? No, when he came back, they actually signed that he'd come back, and they did spent a fair bit of dough on adverts on Channel 10 for membership. And their membership's actually up at the same time last year. So, again, marketing and ads on live TV, they did a good job on that. So, but again, you know, you guys got the formula right way back in the early years when Adelaide first started, and everyone knew about it. It was everywhere. And that's why it was successful. But I just find that the budgeting, the marketing budget for most clubs nowadays is almost non-existent because it's been sucked up by other departments.
Yeah, this is
and also the paid television, Tony. The paid television was a disaster when Townsend left, you know, and of course we lost that 140 million, and then of course the clubs didn't get the 2 million. Each of the clubs were getting 2 million. Yep. Then that dropped to 500,000, and then nobody knows. Maybe it's going to be zero this year. So that will affect the budget definitely. You know, to get the marketing going. But Tony, you're right. See, that's very clever using Craig. You know, like the unsung hero. The hero's back. You know, using the membership drive, and that's the type of thing that clubs should be doing. You know, we used to get the Tony, as you know, we used to get the big trailer going, the big monster going through, creeping into streets, going very slowly. So make sure the highly trafficked, you know, areas just to see. And that's the sort of thing that's very effective, and it doesn't cost a lot either.
I still remember them.
Mate, I tell you,
that was good.
I am very concerned about another thing that I spoke to someone today and that you guys don't know is that we've heard nothing about media accreditation for the second tier or the NSL Australian Championship. Not one little bit of any kind of media accreditation for journalists to write something about this, Angelo. There's nothing going on. Nobody's talking. We are getting too close and there's nothing happening. And honestly, and I also spoke to the Marconi president a few weeks ago, and he's absolutely upset because he said to, and I tell you what, anybody watching out there in Football Australia, please listen closely. That trophy that you made is falling apart, apparently. It's falling apart. Do something about it, huh? That's what he told me. I couldn't believe this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, look, I think it's very concerning, that presidents, the people that have high profile with the clubs are talking about this, and perhaps not in a negative way, but very concerned at the fact that there's a lack of information, disseminated, a lack of information disseminated to the clubs. No. I think that the clubs that are going to be part of it, and if that's the case,
mate, honestly,
Harry, we got no chance. We got no chance of getting any media releases or information.
No, there's nothing.
Look. In saying all of this, I wish football all the best. Football deserves it. Football is the baby here that's, I suppose, not being cared for, because football could grow so much in Australia. There is so much potential, and we all know that. And I think these are the type of things that let us down. They are simple things that when people look at it from the outside, they say, "Oh, how can that happen? How can that be?" And this is what Football Australia, as a governing body, and the APL should be leading the way with good things, and a lot of good information being disseminated, being distributed to the media. Positive things, so that the game can grow and the interest can grow from the media. Because at the moment, Tony, being involved in the media, you would know, Tony, that the lack of media attention the last 2 or 3 years post-COVID has been a disaster.
100%, and part of it's deliberate too, of course.
We know why. But this is the problem here, guys.
Yeah.
Next week we're looking at bringing on a club secretary for somebody from, of course, and he's also, I think he's a coach also at a certain NPL club in Victoria. We would love to talk to him, or we could be talking to an official from one of the clubs, and we'll see where they go from there. But look, it's to me, I don't want to talk about doom and gloom. It's easy to say that, but the thing is, it's easy to get tickets out there, show tickets, buy tickets to the games. They should be advertising tickets right now, Angelo, to buy for the games. Why aren't they doing this? There's nobody there. There's nothing going on, mate. That's the problem I face with this competition.
No, absolutely. Look, Harry, may God bless them. I think that the game needs it.
Sorry, guys.
Your battery.
Your battery. Yeah, that was understandable. Kenny, you wouldn't drop us.
Oh, no, he wouldn't. Kenny?
Mate, I'm still so jet lagged.
Oh my God, can you imagine? Let me say, Kenny, what Angelo's saying just then about not one little bit of media for this biscuit tin competition, as you call it, biscuit tin competition. It's biscuit tin competition. I've seen no tickets on sales. I've seen nothing. No media accreditation, which is upsetting me. So what are we going to do? Bring our NPL media passes to walk into these? What are they going to do? They're not looking after the media to try and advertise anything, which is an absolute disgrace. We're going on Channel 31. I've sent them information to Football Australia. I've got nothing back. Absolutely nothing back to help them. Well, I can't believe this.
Mate, they've got nothing to give. That's why they're playing the silent game at the moment. So, I mean, the only thing that could happen is the FA could get embarrassed into funding this comp for year one. That's the only thing that could happen. That if they get to the stage where none of these teams are accepting, the applications or it'll get to a point where we've got to make the draw, and they need 16 teams, 4 groups of 4.
Yes.
So it will have to get to a point where they either pull the plug on it or the FA agree to fund it. Year one.
There's a problem with that too, Kenny. I'll tell you why. Clubs have already bought their shirts, their new kits and everything. They've spent a lot of money on this too. They've spent new kits for their competition for the Australian NSL Championship.
mate, you say this every week. You're talking about Preston and South Melbourne keep blowing their trumpet about this. Mate, Marconi have got new kits. They've got their normal new kits. Olympic, they're not buying separate brand new kits to play in this competition, mate. It's a 9-week biscuit tin. Let's get it clear. It's a 9-week biscuit tin competition that's worth nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's not a national second division. It never will be. It has never been a second division in its structure. It's an invitation cup that's worth nothing, which coincides with the start of the A-League. That makes it even worse.
Yeah,
at the same time,
that's the concern. That's the concern that I was saying, Kenny, earlier on. It would have to be, the fixtures would have to be really extremely well organised, not to impact on the A-League. Because otherwise, it's like we're committing suicide. Like with the fans, and as Tony was saying, Adelaide is doing a fantastic job with the membership drive, on television, and hopefully the other clubs are doing the same thing. But if we've got another competition run parallel to the A-League, then we're going to lose some fans somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I just go off a tangent about promotion and how something, when it's done well, looks completely different. Premier League get launched on Saturday night on Stan, which is really Optus in sheep's clothing, right?
Yes, they are.
So the presentation was fantastic. Channel 9 had the Newcastle Aston Villa game. Really good crossing over. Whether you like Bosnich and the panel, that's up to you. But at least the presentation and the professionalism left Optus and Paramount for dead. I'm hoping that the viewing figures for Channel 9 will be so good that Channel 9 will wake up to themselves and go, "Oh, this is a sleeping giant. We really need to be getting behind this." But the reality is now that we'll get a live game every Saturday night on Channel 9.
Yes, I saw that.
At relatively prime time, 9 o'clock.
Yes.
It's and they're smart. They're not giving you the 12 o'clock game. They're giving you you're getting the 12 p.m. game in the UK, which is at the moment 9 o'clock.
Beautiful. Which
is accessible to most people, even younger kids.
I saw that.
So they've handled that really well. They've thought about it, and they've picked the games that are going to be the early games. But just the presentation, it's no cheap. The coverage is great. The camera work's great. So hopefully that'll roll through into maybe Channel 9 looking at picking up the A-League in some description or whatever our elite competition.
Yeah, Kenny, I want to ask you. So what we're talking about here right now, and if I was to go to the other side, to go to, not just to Paramount, but to Channel 10, Bold, that is Bold, which is the second channel of Channel 10, which means it's going to run at the same time. It will be coming at the same time as the Saturday night game will be the same time as the Premier League game. So how does that work? What would you watch? The A-League or the Premier League, Kenny?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that even historically, the reason Foxtel had the A-League
two together
was a lead-in to the Premier League. Yep. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
That's fine. It just gives you that continuity. Now, if you're asking me what will happen, I think Channel 9 will win by a length.
They'll win big time, I know that, yes. And when there's games from Perth, Angelo, they're going to be playing games late in Perth, and they did it last year. They did it early in the year when they were playing games a little bit later, in a double header where the earlier game was in Sydney or Melbourne, and then they were playing the thing. That means it's going to be in competition. And oh boy, that's going to be. No, has anybody ever worked that out and spoke about this? That's another problem. Oh boy, and competition between
Yes, Harry. Another very good point. The fixtures. We've said it 3 times. We've got to make sure that they're extremely well organised. And where are we pitching? You know, for example, when there's games organised in WA, they're always pitching in Sydney and Melbourne, the two biggest markets, right? Whether it's AFL, whether it's, you know, other sports. And that's what we've got to be clever at. We've got to be very clever. Number one, to know the demographics. Number two, to know who we are actually feeding to in terms of the viewers on television. Television's very powerful. And, you know, we've never sort of done that so well. But I remember when we had the 8-team competition, when we started the A-League,
Yes.
the television was absolutely perfect. It was spot on. Absolutely spot on. And I really don't know why we've lost track, we've lost our way, but we really need to do this ASAP. Whether it's Football Australia or the APL, we need to get the television right. If we're on bold and we're not pitching at anybody, we're not reaching out to the extra audience, then that's not the right channel for us.
This is
Unfortunately, I can say that I'm not involved with Football Australia. I'm an enthusiastic fan. I can say that if we are not pitching to a growing audience, then it should not be on bold.
No.
You know, what are we doing being on the second channel instead of the first channel? You know, I mean, this is what we've got to think about. We do not have to have this inferiority complex that we had sort of like 50 years ago. We are a code of football that has the highest participation. We've said this 1,000 times. We've got the potential. We've got the kids. And that is the future of the game. We have the best demographics in terms of reaching out to the community right across Australia. So whoever, you know, Harry Michaels, for example, he would know all about this stuff in terms of getting television.
Does.
I just hope to God that Harry Michaels gets involved again, because we need that sort of experience, that sort of person that's passion for the game, that can help us with the game. Because right now, the television is not right, gentlemen.
No, it's
we
not.
We talked about the media, but we are not. We've got, look, our A-League is not inferior. Our A-League is a good competition, and Graham Arnold proved that when we played in Qatar in the last World Cup. He picked 11 players. 11 players out of 26 were from the A-League. And what did we do, gentlemen? We did really, really well. We lost to Argentina 2-1. Could have drawn the game, but we went out of that World Cup with a head high. And we went out of that World Cup with nearly 50% of A-League players.
Tony, I want to speak. Can you hang on? Now, Tony, this is what I'm going to ask you now. So what we're looking at here is now, oh, yes, you know, we're going to be paying for Paramount. We're going to watch Paramount the other. But hang on for a sec. You've got Stan now coming at the same time, nearly the same time as the A-League. Are people going to be paying 2 subscriptions? Are they going to be paying 2 subscriptions? This is what I want to know now. This is the other problem, Tony. Gee, so they've not really, the APL have not really listened to the people or anybody, knowing, have they ever done their research to say that now that Stan started, that it's going to run into the A-League games too. This is ridiculous. And there's nothing there, see? Nobody's talking.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Yeah, the rumour was there that I think they were thinking about picking up the A-League and run the whole football package together.
Never.
But I think Paramount have still got the contract for the A-League for another season.
It's a disaster.
But I was reading something yesterday, I don't know where, but it was saying that Paramount were in talks with the A-League for a future contract.
Oh, gee.
So I can't remember where I saw it. Might have been on Twitter. But whether that's true or not, I don't know. But again, you know, if it was all on one channel, great, but they'd have to have a separate channel within Stan Sport. But whoever picks it up has got to do a decent job of promoting it. And I mean, the biggest thing is that all the migrants we have coming into the country, they only know one sport and they're only playing one sport.
That's right.
So, 12-1 ratio.
Gee.
We have above. You know,
I'll bring
the next one. It's crazy.
I'll bring Kenny. Kenny, now, I just thought about this tonight. When I watched the game on Saturday night, watching, of course, Aston Villa and of course, the other team. Who were they?
Newcastle.
Newcastle. And then I said to myself, hang on for a sec. This is 9:30 starting, so that means that there's going to be competition between the A-League and the Premier League. So why didn't these idiots talk about this now?
But you know, the interesting thing was, mate, it wasn't on 9GM or 9Go.
No, it wasn't the world's
Channel
number
9.
one channel. That's right. You're getting the best coverage.
And what you'll notice on Sunday morning and Monday morning, as in this morning,
Yes.
on the Today Show, the sporting segment had a big run on the English Premier League.
Oh my
Never
God.
seen that before.
Gee.
So they're smart. You know, they're
Very smart.
backing it. Don't worry, they're backing it. They're having a throw at the stumps with it.
Oh,
you know,
gee.
And they showed, goal highlights. And you watch tomorrow, there'll be a highlights package of the games that were played yesterday. So, yeah, they've looked at it and gone, well, if we're going to do it, let's do it properly.
And they've done
You
it.
know, and none of this nine. I mean, it doesn't matter to me if it's not 9GM or 9Go. I'd watch it anyway. It's free to air.
Yeah.
But the fact is, they've allocated the 9 o'clock time slot
Great
on a
time.
Saturday night
Great
on
time.
Channel 9.
Great time.
And as Angelo would know, that's prime advertising.
It
time.
is.
Prime advertising time. You know, you're actually overlapping AFL and
Yes.
NRL because their games don't finish the 10:45.
Yes. So
Predominantly, you know.
So Angelo, the A-League, the A-League up against it this year against the the Premier League. They're up against it then. So nobody said anything about this. That's fantastic. We're the only ones to talk about it today, and nobody else has said that. There you go. Fantastic.
Well, because as you said very well about 10, 15 minutes ago, Harry, there's no publicity, there's
Nothing.
no
There's
information
nothing there.
fed to the fans that are really, without the fans, we don't have a game, and we've always said that. But what I want to say in terms of this Channel 9 situation, Channel 9 is thinking of the network Channel 9. You know, they've grabbed the EPL because it is the most attractive, entertaining league in the world in terms of football. I mean, it's obviously better than the Serie A and the La Liga. It gets more profile, and it's absolutely well packaged, in terms of. So they've got it. They grabbed it, and I hope that Kenny's right. I hope that they grab the A-League as well, because right now we're not being served. Unfortunately, Channel 10 aren't going to like this, but I hope that we don't get a continued contract with Channel 10 because I don't think that Channel 10 is doing a great job.
And they're not, because they're now competing with the Premier League on Channel 9. Kenny? One more time.
The audience is
I
there.
totally agree. Mate, I said from day one, it was never a good fit. I'd rather give it SBS,
Yes.
for half the price. Because at least then you got a building block and a quality programme. I mean, I'm a huge SBS fan in everything they do. And I know that it's a government channel, but compared to the ABC, they leave them for dead. I mean, if you look at the crime dramas, the documentaries, the cooking shows, SBS are absolutely superb at nearly everything they do. News. I mean, if you want to watch proper news and real news coverage, you watch SBS. Don't watch ABC or Channel 9. SBS gives you world news, real happening, real truth, real proper coverage, straight down the middle, unbiased, and you'll watch and you go, you know what, I get it. And same with sport, and they cover so many, whether it be cycling, whether it be, netball, they just do everything well. I mean,
exactly. And
They don't have the world movies anymore, do they?
no,
So,
Like
they
years
do,
ago.
they do. Angelo, the other point is now,
honest to God, world movies last night. I watched
here we go.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
Oh
Nest
mate,
on there last night.
my God! It reminds me of someone actually. That film, I can't say who it is, but anyway.
Well, I shouldn't say it, but it was sort of.
And that Kenny, that's why you look like Jack Nicholas with your hair today.
Exactly, Jack.
Yeah.
You watch the movie.
Yeah, I'm
Before
so
we-
jet lagged, you would not believe.
Boys,
Honest to God.
before we go tonight, and another thing's dawned on me as well, Angelo. The games of the Biscuit Tin League, like Kenny says, they're at the same time as the Premier League too. They're the same time as well. This is a disgrace. Nobody's thinking about this stuff. They're not thinking about it. See?
Yeah, but mate, forget the times of the Premier League. They won't get the biscuit tin on TV.
No, well,
no chance.
Hang on, Footballers can do that on Channel 31 if they allow us. There you go. It's up to them. It's up to them.
Mate, if they get that on like proper TV, I'm talking about a Channel 9, Channel 10, Channel 7 for that biscuit tin. Mate, honest to God, I will never comment on football ever again.
Okay.
It'll be on MPL TV, I reckon.
YouTube.
Yeah, but I can watch my son's game on YouTube.
Exactly. There you go, boys. Well, we've gone nearly an extra half an hour tonight because and everybody listening tonight. And I know there's a few people listening. We found some issues that nobody's talked about. Angelo, so this is something that it's amazing that the Premier League and the A-League, oh God, that's just a disaster. We don't even know how many people go to the games now that you can sit in your own house and watch the best football around the world. There you go. Anyway, Kenny, thank you for joining me tonight, boys. Thank you for joining me, Angela and everybody. Of course, Sammy Barry was live tonight from Argentina. Thank you, boys, for joining us tonight on Footballers. Next week, we've got another big special. Thanks, boys. Footballers, boy, what a big show it was tonight. But I tell you what, thanks, boys, for joining me tonight. Everybody, thank you. Boy, we didn't know all these issues, but they just come up to us straight away and we spoke about them. So some competitions up against it, of course, and we'll find out more about that during the year. Here we go. Hup, hup, check it out. Hup, hup. Feel it. Check it out. Hup. Love you guys. Next Monday night, we got a massive special again for you. Don't forget that. Don't forget. Thank you, Kenny Wilson. Thank you, Tony Goodwin. Thank you, Angelo Pica. And of course, all the way from Argentina, Sammy Barry. This is the one. Now is the time. Don't ever stop. We should have known. Gotta be strong. We should have known. Right from the top. And when you feel the heat, the world is at your feet. No one can hold you back. Don't forget, guys, next week, 8 p.m, Footballers is live again with a lot of special guests. Thank you for joining us, guys. It's our way, the highway. And that's what it is on our show. Footballers, don't forget